Today I sit down with Second City veterans Jimmy Carrain and John Hildreth. Between the two of them, they have over 60 years of improv experience. They have a show the first Sunday of every month at Judy's Beat Lounge, located at Second City. My first question for you guys is, how long have you guys been doing improv?
I started doing improv when I started taking classes at the Players Workshop of the Second City, and I was like 19 or 20, so that was back in, I'm guessing around 84, something like that. So 84, and now it's 2019.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow. John?
I'm going to say about the same time as second or third year of college.
Okay.
So it was like 83, 84.
Okay, 84.
Sure.
Okay. And how long have you guys been doing improv together?
Will be coming up in November, God willing, it will be 8 years.
Oh, wow. Who introduced you guys?
Well, John and I had known each other just in, he had been Carter Giants, and we were around the same time back in the late 80s, early 90s, and then he was a guest on my podcast, Improv Nerd.
Okay.
And then Ben Caprero, who was the producer then, said, your styles, I think Ben was a student of yours, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
And he's like,
Yeah.
you should really work with John. And then the show, was it your idea, I think?
Yeah, originally we got Norm Holly to direct us, and it was Jimmy Jet Johnny.
Yes.
With Jet Eveleth, who was with us for the first few months of the show.
Okay.
Before she's now in LA. But anyway, it was Jimmy Jet Johnny. When she left, we stayed together and kept the show going, but no Jet, just Jimmy and Johnny.
So then it became Jimmy and Johnny, and then we're like, okay, each month we'll have a special guest, which has been a lot of fun.
Oh, wow. And so that show's been going on. I know you guys said that you guys have been doing improv together for 8 years. So that show's been going on for 8 years. That's amazing. How long did it take before you guys' styles started to click?
Wow. Ooh, wow, that's a really good question. I'm going to say it was a couple years, would you say?
Yeah.
Easily.
A couple years.
Okay. For your average team, do you think that's about the time that it takes for a new team to really take off?
Well, for a new team, I think it's different for we were kind of like feeling each other out and seeing I remember we also had Jack Bronison, and Jack said to us, he goes you guys both have this, what did he say, energy? It was like this, like this down energy.
Yeah.
Which, I think was true at the time.
Yeah, we needed to hear that. I think.
We did. And I don't think we took, for me I don't think we took ownership of the show until probably about 2 years into it.
Okay.
Even how we were acting with the guests, we'd be like, okay, do what you want and stuff like that. But then I felt like there was a period where it was like, okay, you're coming on and doing our show,
right.
and you're a guest in our show.
How many times a month would you say that a team should practice?
I'm going to say, back in college and right out of college with the first improv group, we rehearsed, I'm going to say damn near every day.
Wow.
Because there was nothing else to do.
Sure.
But I would say every 2 weeks minimum. Minimum.
Right.
It depends, how many gigs you're going to get and if they're going to be, if they're just 12-minute opening acts or what are they? Do you have a run somewhere?
Right.
Yeah, I think John's point of it depends what it is. If you've got a short run,
Right.
A minimum of once a week. You know, if it's an ongoing, an open run somewhere, then at least every couple weeks.
Sure.
You're improvising, and John brings up this point. I did a group called Jazz Freddy. And back in the 80s and 90s here in Chicago, there wasn't a distraction. Like if you said, okay, we're going to do this show, you would treat it like you were cast in a play. So you wouldn't be going, oh, I can't do that because I got to go do. You wouldn't miss a rehearsal because you were going to go do a bar prop. You committed to those rehearsals. You committed to the show, the run of the show, and I think in a lot of ways that made improv. You got the best out of people.
Right. I kind of feel like
kind of with the lack of like organization in improv, like you get a lot of teachers that do improv, and so people like put it off as like a hobby almost. They treat it, especially getting into it, they treat it more like a hobby. And if you really want to get good at it, I feel like you need to commit, and I don't feel like a lot of people do that after they see.
Or the flip side of it, people overcommit. They're doing 6 projects.
Yeah.
And so, you know, how good can you be if you're on 6 different teams? You know, you're doing, let's say you break it down, you're doing 2 sketch shows, you're doing 3 improv, and you're developing your solo show. Like, how good are you going to be, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of my biggest, like my kryptonite was always playing with somebody who I didn't know their points of reference. Maybe didn't know where they were coming from, like pop culture wise, and so I don't know why it was always my Achilles heel, but I would always play back, and I find myself playing back so much I was ineffective as a performer, as an improviser. I was wondering, have you guys ever experienced that, and what have you guys done to combat that?
I think it's good to know the tendencies of the people you're going to play with. Because, I mean, sometimes you have to figure out, okay, what is my role going to be here? You know, if you're playing with this person and they're kind of off the wall and ridiculous,
Yeah.
you know, you might not have to be the ridiculous person.
Exactly.
You might be the person that's trying to justify all this stuff. It's good to know in advance, but I guess you should be prepared to just react to what's going on.
And if you don't know someone's reference level, sometimes that can be a great opportunity. You can delve, like, I don't know that. You could just be totally honest about that.
Sure.
And that can lead you to a character. I mean, can lead you to a game. It can lead. I mean, I think sometimes people put too much importance on, I got to know reference levels. I got to know pop culture stuff. And the funny thing is about us is we're older. Is like. No one's going to get the people that are in our audience that are students that are coming to see our shows. They're much younger. They're not going to get our reference levels, you know. So, I don't think it's as big of a deal as you know. And starting out, I felt the same way as you did.
Sure. Do you guys hang out outside of the show at this point?
No, we really don't. We'll email occasionally. Occasionally, I think. You know, a real quality time, I'll actually make a phone call to John, but it's pretty much we show up, we do the show that night.
For a brand new team, how important do you think just group hangouts are?
I recommend it, especially to like groups that are still classes. I'm like, you're in level 5. You all, as a group, should be going to see the level 6 shows on Monday night here.
Sure.
You should be going out, drinking and talking about it afterwards. You should all go to the, you know, if one of you has an outside group that has a show, you should all go and support that person in their group.
For sure.
I think it's important for a new group to hang outside of their shows.
And that doesn't mean you have to go and get fucked up,
Right.
you know? And I think the thing that John says too is like, go out and see shows. And I think, you know, I don't think I saw a Carter John show, but I don't think you were in it, the one about the advertising agency.
No, I directed that one.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if you go out with your class and you go see other improv groups, and I think that's become a lost art, because when we started, that was part of the education. You would go and see other people's show. And if you go and see other people's show, especially as in a group, you go, oh man, you can all get inspired together.
That's definitely one of the things Comedy Sports, when I was there, they encouraged was like you had to go to 2 practices a month, but going to a show counted as a practice. Because just seeing improv will help you recognize tendencies and help you pick up on things maybe you want to incorporate in your game, or maybe you see something that you don't want to incorporate in your game.